Hey folks, so this video is about basically covering your ceiling in a basement workshop on the cheap. Um, just like most of us have fiberglass insulation, a bunch of stuff in the way on the ceiling. You can see here like that fiberglass insulation under there. You spend a lot, if you're like me or uh, other people, you spend a lot of time in your workshop, in your basement, but you don't really want to put a ton of money into finishing it off nicely, and you want to be able to sit under in the area without having insulation hanging over your head and worrying about insulation dust. So basically what I did, I looked for a long time about how I wanted to do this cheaply. It didn't have to be pretty. It just had to be, for me, it just had to be good enough that I could walk into this workshop area where I've got my tools. I got my tools, and so a work area over here, and I just wanted it to be, comfortable, but didn't have to be, pretty. I just wanted to be able to, I wanted some accessibility to things I had hanging on the ceiling. So basically, what I did, which I finally found, is this. I went to Lowe's and got this siding underlayment. It's really light. It's really thin stuff. It's perforated so that it can breathe. Moisture and air can travel through it. Just enough so that it's not trapping anything. And all I did was staple this stuff to the joists or rafters. I don't know. I mean the beams that go across the ceiling. I can never remember which one it is. I think it's when you're under it, it's rafters, but if you're on it, it's joists. I don't know. One of the two. And all I did was get a staple gun and one pack of this. It's 50. It's got 50 feet. I've got some left over. And I cut it into individual sections. I had originally considered trying to get it all up in one sheet, so that way it didn't, the seams wouldn't be as visible. Might have looked a little cleaner. But what I decided to do was to cut each sheet. It comes in just this big accordion. It's just like one big 50-foot sheet you get of this stuff. And what I decided to cut it into each individual sheet, because if I ever need to take one down in the middle or at the end or wherever, I wouldn't have to take the whole ceiling down. I could just pull one panel down, just like as if you had a drop ceiling. I didn't want to do a drop ceiling because it's just so expensive for an area like this, where all I really wanted was cover. I turned it, on each side. It's got like the grid, which I think is useful if you want, if it's an easy indicator of where your studs are. I decided to turn it that way facing in, because I didn't want to look at it. It was easy enough for me to follow a pattern, a staple pattern, and since I was doing it one sheet at a time, and I could always see the stud, I never had to worry about missing it or like shooting the staple into something else. At the end of the day, I'm pretty happy with how this came out. The rest of my basement is finished. I put down on the floor, some cheapo recycle rug stuff from Home Depot. It's made of like 100% plastic or some crap like that. The reason I put this down is because I've got these, I can't remember what you call these. It's a raised plywood with some channeling underneath it that gives it breathability, and this flows all the way into the finish room. I think it's called dry core, something like that. But yeah, I hadn't seen anyone do it like this. I didn't want to use the really thick foam because I wanted it to be, I wanted to have some flexibility. I didn't want to be too rigid. Like I have some ductwork that runs here, and you can see I was able to just kind of contour it around it and staple it. Over here, I just kind of, got it up there with a staple or two here and there. And ultimately, I wasn't looking for R value or anything. I've already got insulation up there. I just wanted to cover it. The kids walk in here and pull the string light and used to fling up in the air and hit the insulation. And, it's like, you don't want that happening. So just kind of quick and dirty. It's easy to cut around light fixtures and some venting I had over here, you know, pipes and whatever. You know, this area, you know, everybody's got that one wall that's the trickiest because you got the most crap over on the side of it where you have like electric and filtration systems and stuff like that. And it's really easy to just kind of work with, you know, work around stuff with it. It's not heavy. This is what I did. I hope this helps anyone who's trying to do something similar for like a workshop in their basement where they don't want to put a ton of time and money into it. I didn't like move anything around. I didn't try to optimize anything. I just started throwing it up without, you know, the only thought I gave to it was which direction I wanted it to go in, you know, whether I wanted it to vertically go this way or that way. And I chose this way. I just felt like it was going to be the easiest to get it through. My joist pattern goes this way. So I went across it because it just, I don't know, just what I ended up doing. No real rhyme or reason. I think it could have spanned the joists, I mean, but anyways, hope this helps. I've seen a lot of other videos around like finishing your basement ceiling, you know, people looking for stuff to put up in it. This underlayment, which I think is used for siding typically, really worked well. I went to Lowe's because they had this really light green, whereas you go to Home Depot, they've got pink. I thought the light green looked a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. You know, it's not as tough on the eyes. So, hope this helps.